Khaleesi, because it looked like Blake Lively's little situation, it looked like this case has been thrown out. She ain't gonna win this case. And I said this from the beginning, bitch, you should have settled. But she didn't want to. The ego got the best of her. And now look at you. The judge pretty much just tossed a lot of your sexual harassment suit. So on Thursday, April 2nd, and this wasn't on April Fool's, so this is a fact, a federal judge in the Southern District of New York ruled on Baldoni's bid to end the case before it goes to trial. U.S. District Judge Louis J. Lyman dismissed the majority of Lively's claims, including harassment, defamation, and conspiracy, while allowing a narrower set of allegations, including breach of contract and two retaliation-related claims, to move forward at trial. Judge Lyman wrote that certain claims cannot proceed as a matter of law, including those dependent on Lively being classified as an employee, while others, particularly her retaliation-related allegations, were sufficiently supported to continue. The ruling dismisses some claims, including Lively's Title VII retaliation claim and California Labor Code retaliation claim, as well as certain claims against individual defendants. It allows others, including one retaliation claim against Wayfair and and related entities, to proceed. The case remains on track for trial on May 18th. I just feel like y'all are dragging this out. It's like Jesus. I thought this was the this ain't the trial. The trial's in May. So now, in case y'all need a refresher, in December 2024, Lively, who's 38, filed a lawsuit against Baldoni, who's 42, producer Jamie Heath, Wayfair Studios, its co-founder Steve Sarowitz, publicist Jennifer Abel, and Crisis publicist Melissa Nathan. She alleges Baldoni subjected her to sexual harassment and that he and the other defendants orchestrated a retaliatory smear campaign to destroy her reputation in connection with It Ends With Us. She is seeking more than $160 million in damages. Baldoni has denied the claims. Well, then Baldoni later filed a $400 million countersuit against the Gossip Girl actress, her husband Ryan Reynolds, 49, publicist Leslie Sloan, and Sloan's PR firm, alleging defamation and breach of contract. The case was dismissed by Judge Lyman in June of 2025. So he dismissed the counter suit, and he pretty much dismissed a lot of what Blake was coming forward with. So, ma'am, what you should have did in the beginning was just like, you know what? Let's not have this go to trial. This is ridiculous. Let's just come to an agreement, settle, move on. You're wasting our time. You're wasting taxpayers' time. You're wasting the judge's time. And he looked at all this mess and was like, okay, so all this stuff that you're accusing, there's no evidence of that. This sounds frivolous. We're throwing it out. And everybody knows that Blake has a reputation for being a see you next Tuesday behind the scenes. And what you was doing out here was you was trying to take advantage of this man's. I mean, yes, and I don't know, people have said it before. Well, he's directed other things. Yes, he's directed shows and episodes of what was that? What did he direct a couple of episodes of that show that he was on the CW? I can't remember if he did because I never watched it, but I know he was on it. What was the name? Jane the Virgin, I think was the show that he was on. But anyway, so he's directed a couple of things here and there, but I don't think he's directed something of this magnitude, like a movie based on a Colleen Hoover book. So when you have Blake Lively coming in and trying to take over and control stuff because of who she's married to and her reputation of being very much a busybody and bossy, and she thought that she was going to steamroll over Justin because he's not well known. She may have thought he might have been inexperienced. She was dealing with a lot of things that was going on in her personal life as well, which they were saying like she had just had a baby and you were trying to balance doing this movie. You had other obligations you were trying to do. And then on top of that, I think what also hurt you was the fact that when you were out promoting this movie, you were promoting your little side gigs. Like you were promoting products that you were endorsing. And people were kind of side on you like, sis, what are you doing? So um I was actually surprised that the judge was going to rule this way. And so they basically said that Lively failed to meet the legal standard required to prove harassment, at one point calling the allegations small potatoes. A whole bunch of little things can add up to a big thing. And I was looking at this too, like, okay, some of the stuff that she was mentioning, I'm like, it's a big deal. Okay, so you were breastfeeding and he walked in on you. Okay, like he's never seen a titty. He has a wife with a bunch of fucking kids. And you felt that that was harassment. So certain little things that you were bringing up. It's not like, oh, now if it was extreme, like he grabbed you by the pussy or whatever, then I could understand if that was something that you said that had happened and then it was brought to the situation. But it looked like you was grasping at straws because you weren't getting your way in a lot of situations and you wanted to just kick up dirt. So Baldoni's attorney, Jonathan Bach, argued that the dispute stemmed from creative disagreements, not unlawful conduct. This is the case about making a movie, one with highly charged romantic and sexual themes, he told the court, noting that an intimacy coordinator was available and that the source material included sexual content. Well, if anybody read the book, y'all know there is sexual stuff in it. But now Lively's attorney, Ursula Hudson, encountered that Baldoni's conduct was consistently inappropriate and crossing boundaries, alleging he introduced sexualized material not in the script, including a birth scene and a dance sequence in which he allegedly nuzzled Lively. Well, a lot of times, here's the thing. Now, if anybody knows this, is that a lot of time when you get source material from a book, a lot of times they're not going to follow the book to a T. So there's certain things that you come up with that, and how do I explain this? That I guess would make it make sense for the big screen versus because everything that's in a book is not going to work on the page. Although I will say this. Now I just recently watched that Harry Potter trailer. And literally as I'm watching the trailer, it literally felt like the book had just came to life. The pages literally came to life on the screen when I was watching the trailer. So I know we out here boycotting J.K. Rowling, but I might have to go off on that and watch that show because that the new Harry Potter series looked good. But um the point of that was context, or if something is not working that's in a book and you want to and you feel like okay maybe this scene will work better and stuff in the film or whatever the case is, then you shop those ideas around. You workshop is the word I was looking for. When you workshop those ideas, and if it works, it works. And you ask her if you're willing to do that. If she says okay, then okay. Then if not, then okay. But it seemed like there were ideas that she had that she was trying to steamroll over on him, and he wasn't really feeling it. But so with that all being said, let's get into Rob Shutter. So Rob Shutter went in and he had two stories. So one of the stories he said that Blake is devastated after the loss and said instead of her just walking away with her tail between her legs, the ego is just too big for her to do that. So she said she's not done. So, a judge, as y'all know, dismissed 10 of her 13 claims against Justin Baldoni, including her explosive harassment allegations, a devastating blow that insiders say hit hard. It says she's devastated. This is what an insider told Naughty But Nice. This is not the outcome she expected. Behind the scenes, sources say emotions are running high. She's angry. She feels like her story isn't being fully heard. But if anyone thinks she's walking away, think again. Blake is not quitting. She's digging in. So they also said three claims, including retaliation, are still moving forward at trial. And I'm sure there was some tit for tat there between the both of you. And insiders say she's now laser focused on proving what remains. This just became a different fight, narrower but more intense. Her legal team has already signaled the same, insisting the case is far from over and that she's ready to testify. She says she wants her day in court and she's determined to get it. Still, the setback changes everything. The pressure is higher now. She has less room for error and a lot more to prove. Well, look, being that you took a personal, a major hit, now it's personal and you're fighting back and all this other stuff, you go ahead and do that. But my question remains is it all worth it at the end? Because now another story that I had heard from Rob Shutter, and I think it's not just him, because there was wait, was this the story that I had seen? Because there was another one where hold on, because now I gotta look it up. I knew there was more than one damn Blake Lively story that I had. Excuse me. But yeah, there was a story that also came out that said that the industry might be turning their back on her. There's two stories I have with that. So, first things first, there was the one Rob Shutter said Hollywood turns its back on Blake Lively, who's going to hire her now. And they said that this has made people nervous. Studios hate risk, and this feels like a risk because in this business, it's not just about talent, it's about trust. Producers are asking what happens if something goes wrong? Will this turn into another legal situation? And the question alone can change everything. Insiders say there are growing concerns about working dynamics as well, saying filmmaking is collaborative, which is what I was saying earlier. Like you workshop an idea, if something works, then and there they're for it or against it. That conversation needs to be had. And they said if people feel like they're walking on eggshells, they'll just hire someone else. And with this whole thing becoming bigger than what it is, I don't know if anybody's going to be willing to sit on set with a Blake Lively, knowing her reputation. Like, oh my God, now if I say the wrong thing, if I come at her a certain way, is she going to sue me too? Like, I think that's probably the um the question that a lot of people are going to be asking. So they said selling a movie is half the job. Press, promotion, relationships, it all matters. And right now, the optics aren't great, fair or not. That's the reality. Even her biggest advantage, her partnership with Ryan Reynolds, is being discussed, saying when personal and professional lines blur, it raises eyebrows. Studios like clear structure. But then they also said that everybody's not writing her off, saying Hollywood has a short memory when there's a hit. If she delivers, everything changes. But for now, the mood is cautious. So yeah, they want to see how it all plays out. And I think what it is they'll probably take a risk. I don't know if she's been working on anything since this whole situation, but it's all I think the only thing that time will tell. And the timing which will tell will be when she puts out a movie, and if it is successful at the box office, all is forgiven because that's all Hollywood cares about: box office numbers and success. If it flops, then they're like, okay, she's tainted. People are not feeling her because of the Justin Baldoni stuff, and now we don't fuck with her no more. Now let's go for Timu Blake Lively, which is Micah Monroe, and get her into a couple of those movies, like that Reminders of Him, which was a Colleen Hoover movie, a Colleen Hoover book that was turned into a movie, which I think did fairly well at the box office. We talked about that the other day. And when you look at Micah Monroe, she definitely gives favor to Blake Lively. So I can see them wanting to work with her more on stuff, and they'd be like, okay, but we got our new Blake Lively. We don't need this other girl. But yeah, but last but certainly not least, there was a story that I saw at page 6 where a brand specialist by the name of Kaylee Cornelius exclusively spoke with them after the judge tossed the actress's sexual harassment, defamation, and conspiracy claims against Baldoni in the headline-making legal face-off, saying it does look like a challenging path lies ahead for Blake. There's a real risk she could start to feel pushed out of the industry and struggle to secure major roles or brand deals going forward. According to the PR maven, the fast-paced film industry can easily move on from Lively's talents. The film industry is now incredibly fast-moving and competitive, and it often feels like a revolving door. As one star's momentum dips, there's now a whole new wave of new talent ready to take their place. Studios are looking for the best talent to capture broader audiences at a time when the public is more reactive than ever. She explained, with the impact of cancel culture and increased scrutiny, there is less appetite to take on talent who may be seen as controversial or commercially uncertain. That means even legacy names such as Blake are no longer untouchable and guaranteed the security they once had. So it's entirely possible that Blake could face tougher competition for newer talent. They were also told the latest update in Lively's case against Baldoni is a major turning point for her reputation, saying when claims as significant as sexual harassment, defamation, and conspiracy are dismissed, it inevitably has a lasting impact on public perception. At this level, reputational damage can be very difficult to fully recover from, and it's likely that Blake's public image won't return to what it once was unless there is a major legal breakthrough in her favor further down the line. Now, as for now, Lively should navigate her next move. Cornelia said she should stand her ground. Which pretty much we pointed out that in the Rob Shooter interview, story, that she is going to be standing her ground. She's going to dive deep and 10 toes down and focus on what she's able to move forward with, and that's what she's going to do. And if you have the wherewithal and the ability and the funds or whatever, well, she's got the fund. Who she's married to. Ryan Reynolds with them Deadpool movies. He's like $1 billion grossing actor now. So they've got the funds to put in this. And as a husband, he's going to support his wife, even if he's kind of looking at this shit as being ridiculous. I don't know. I'm not in his head, but you got to stand your ground and stand behind your wife and what she's going through. So I'm not going to fault him on that. But they said if she's looking to prove her point and stand firmly behind her allegations, this is arguably a battle she needs to see through to the end. Stepping back is setting too early or settling too early could be perceived by the public as a sign of doubt or even guilt, which would only reinforce the narrative now formed around her. But It's funny you say that, but now I was like, wait, I think she should settle, but which is what they're saying. Because I was saying, girl, you should have settled from the beginning. A settlement, they said, could become a smart option if her messy court battle continues to further damage her image. Prolonged legal battles keep the story in the headlines and allow scrutiny to build over time, which can be incredibly damaging in itself. If that case becomes more complex or unpredictable, a settlement could be a smart move from a damage limitation perspective, even if it does not fully vindicate her position. I would also give her the chance to step back, reset, and carefully phase a return to the spotlight. Realistically speaking, though, it would be the success or failure of her next major project that determines what the future of her career looks like. Which is literally what I was saying. I was like, yeah, at this point, it's like people are forgiving. The industry's forgiving. People move on. All this other stuff. You know, we all got it's like the way we got our minds are like we got the attention span of a gnat. So it all depends on like, okay, she put out another movie, and if it's a hit, people have moved on. It's not a big deal. Hollywood's like, okay, so now she's safe to work with. You know, they're always about, oh my God, you know, walking on eggshells, worrying about if this is gonna be a hit, if this is not gonna be a hit. And then um if it flops, then it's like, okay, like I said before, time to move on to the next young upcoming things. And Blake ain't it. So yeah, that's the case. That's the latest on that. The story goes on and on. You know, like the Daily Mail between the Daily Mail and the New and Page Six, y'all be writing fucking novels and disguising that shit as a damn um report. It's like we don't need to bring it on now. I think y'all got enough of the gist. I will definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. And so I want to hear from you. What do you think about the latest development regarding this whole Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni Lauration situation? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.